Good morning, CLC. I invite you to relax in this beautiful spring day. Taking a few deep breaths, putting everything aside for now. Allow your body in this moment to be still. Allow your mind to be here, now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand, and let my words act as your own, for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of this infinite presence, I simply speak these words. I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. In visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass, in seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words, I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast, and sharing confidence and gratitude and saying, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Well, welcome again to this wonderful spring day. I hope that you're getting great weather. Depending upon where you are, it may still be a little chilly, but here in Houston, we have fantastic weather today. So um, just rubbing it in just a little bit, just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit.
Welcome to Creative Life, week 3 in the 30-day mental diet, which is not fitting days to the week exactly because it's 30 days and random numbering on the front end and loaded on the back end. But for some structure, use the book, also the book study with practitioner Sharon Minery that you heard about, and that will walk you through. And the book actually has journaling pages in it, and it has little assignments and things. What I have for you today is more kind of organic than that, but it has to do with that we're in this season of spiritual activity and spiritual discovery called Lent, that is from the Christian liturgical year, and it's today at 12:30 our time, I believe, more or less exactly, is the vernal equinox. And did you know you can stand an egg on end? Wait, no, you can do that anytime. It'll work anytime. But it's a cool thing to show your friends, especially if you count down on the watch, you know, exactly right now. And everyone stands back and the thing balances on its fat end. What's true about the equinoxes, both of them, is that on that day, at that time, the sun, well, not at that time, but on that day, the sun rises due east and sets due west. And the rest of the time, it's an approximation. So it's a metaphor, because today we're orienting ourselves. We're reorienting ourselves, and that's what that term means. Have you ever been to an orientation at work? Okay, what that literally means is they face you east. They face you toward the rising sun, where you now have your bearings. You now understand who you are and why you're here. And in that context, the job that you have to do, the particular task set before you. But in our context, as a spiritual center and spiritual beings in spiritual practice, we reconnect with the essence of who we are, why we're here, where we came from, and where we're going. And today a new doorway opens for us. This is what Willis Kinnear in the book tells us, more or less in week 3. He says today a new doorway opens. Where does the new doorway open? You know where it opens? It opens right where we are. Because if it were somewhere else, it wouldn't make a difference to us, would it? Oh, there's a new doorway open somewhere else. Great, I'm here. And probably by the time I find out about it and get there, it'll have closed again. But instead, the new doorway is open right where I am, right as I am. The new doorway to what? The new doorway to spiritual understanding and a sense of being at home in the universe, at home in your body, at home in the life that you're having. And the life that you're having is right here. It's right here. This is the life. I read this someplace in so many words from years ago where somebody said that I thought, they said, I'm quoting the person. This person said, I thought that being, having a spiritual awakening, having a spiritual manifestation was going to usher in a whole new reality into my life. New people were going to show up. New things were going to, like all the sets and props would be carried off, and new sets and props would be brought in, you know, and there it would be. And they discovered, they said, no, instead what happened was exactly what I had around me transformed itself into spiritual matter. New things are coming in. Old things are going out, but not all in one fell swoop. It isn't that heaven suddenly arrives on the scene any more than springtime brings in summer all at once, you know? It's like stuff doesn't go into bloom, right? It'd be scary, be weird. It does that in cartoons and things, but in real life, there's the bud slowly opens and things slowly grows and blossoms, and then it hits a point of fullness, a point of maturity, and we'll say, well, wow, it's summer now, look. And I'll tell you what, man, this area where we are, you know, Danielle's bragging on our weather, which she can do today, but not tomorrow night, as I understand, okay? But we won't be on camera tomorrow night. So today it's beautiful, right, you know? But I'll tell you, this part of the world that we live in, one of the things you discover, I know I've brought this up before, when you fly places with passengers like on a commercial plane, when you're coming into Houston and there are all these people around you that aren't from here, they're all looking out the window going, it's so green. It's like they expected deserts and tumbleweeds and stuff, but we're on the Gulf Coast. But I don't know a place, I know okay, Ireland maybe, but you know, I don't know a place that gets as deep, verdant green as around here. In the summer especially, or late spring into summer, and all the different shades of green. It's not just like one green. It's all these nuanced kinds of greens and in depth, you know. It's just beautiful. Well, all of that happens, but not overnight. It looks like it happens overnight. Yeah, it's true. Some plants and even some trees do kind of bud all at once. But there's a run-up to the process, just like there's a run-up to the manifestation that we have in our own lives. And wherever we are in the process right now is, you know what? Perfect. It's perfect for where we should be right now. Where we should be right now. So right here inside yourself is everything that you seek when held in a new light, when held in a new context, including all of your feelings, including all of your moods, including all of your... That's a very sad song that you sang. It's a beautiful song, and it's a lovely song, but it's in kind of a minor sort of a thing, you know, and there's a wistfulness to it, isn't there? Isn't that a wonderful word, wistfulness? There's a wistfulness to it, and a nostalgia to it, you know, and that's perfect for what it is. Everything doesn't have to be all bright and cheerful and rose-colored all at once. There's a balance to it, and this is part of the wholeness of who we are. So on this day of equal lengths, you know, Lent means lengthening. It's the lengthening days as the year progresses, as tied to the spring season moving into summer. But on this day of equal length, of dark and light, how cool is that? So a few words about the shadow. This came up in a class I'm doing, just completing online, where somebody was asking me about the shadow self. The shadow. There used to be a radio show, The Shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? No one here is old enough to remember this. I got this from the prior generation. No one knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. No, you're not. No. No. Mm-mm. Who knows? The shadow knows. And in psychology, the shadow is seen sometimes, represented sometimes as being the evil part of us, the unhealed kind of ghastly part of us that, if not controlled by our higher self, would run amok and plunder, you know, everything. This causes people, this way of thinking causes people to want to avoid it at all costs. That causes people to stop looking within. Anytime psychology stops us from looking within, it's not done its job. It should be precisely the opposite. Look within yourself and see what's there. The shadow, to me, to my way of thinking, and I'm not alone in this, but who cares, right? To my way of thinking, the shadow is the part of me that is not on the front burner right now. It's the part of me that I'm not looking at. That's why it's called the shadow. It's behind me. Out here in front is the headlight of me. Alan Watts talks about this. He said it's like your consciousness is like the headlight on a train. Isn't that excellent? You're barreling on through life, and your consciousness is what illuminates what's in front of you. Well, behind that is the shadow, and it's my wistfulness, and it's my nostalgia, and it's my attachments of meaning from past events to things. So that somebody sings a song, and I get all teary-eyed, and it has nothing to do with the song, and it has nothing to do with who's singing it. It has to do with whatever was happening in my life when I heard it, and it made an impact on me. And I was just sharing with Mel B. I just heard a song I hadn't heard in years, or hadn't noticed when I did, and I recommended it to her for future, and to Jeffrey for future consideration. What the song is doesn't matter. We'll spring it on you when it's time. But it's, I heard the backstory of the song for the first time, why the person wrote it the way they did. And that really, I really had to sit down with that because it was very emotionally powerful. This is what we do. We go through life every day, every minute of every day, being pulled at by emotional associations that we have made. One writer has called this where we've hidden our power. Okay? Where we've hidden our power. Some of it we lifted the piano lid and put some of it in there. Okay? It's stashed, our power. And it jumps out at us and grabs at us from time to time. And we recoil because it would cause us to feel something. Plus, we're busy. We have things to do. But we want to know who we are. And we want to have heaven on earth. And we want our lives to look wonderful and all the rest of this stuff. Well, the price that we pay for doing that is self-awareness. That's the price you got to pay, self-awareness. So it's Lent. At the end of Lent, you know, there'll be Easter. Well, first there'll be Good Friday. Then there'll be a period of doubt and mourning and loss and disorientation. And then Jesus will arise from within the tomb and greet the day. And everyone will, of Christian persuasion anyway, will celebrate. And we all want to rush to that. We all want to get to the feast day. We all want to get to the big party where all the suffering's over and the lights come up and, you know, there we are. But in order to get there, we have to walk through the other, which is taking our power back. Taking our power back. When did I give away my self-confidence? When did I give away my self-confidence? I've been watching these, not intently because I've been busy, but in the room I've had on basketball. Because there's March Madness. There's men's March Madness. There's women's March Madness, both going on. Plus there's a third tournament called the NIT. So if you want, you can watch basketball like constantly. And I've been watching these confident young people, confident in their ability. They may not all win, of course, because they can't, but they can all play, and they can all leave it all out there and give it everything they've got. They're approaching life with confidence, and it's just like the NCAA commercials say. You foster that as an athlete, you take that into your life, you take that into your work world, and you never lose that. Where did they get that confidence, you know, coming up in these sports and things? It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful how to have that. Where did they find it? Within themselves. They were directed there, they were coached there, they were encouraged. A lot of things happened, but they found it within themselves. Well, we can have confidence within ourselves. And sometimes what happens is we lose confidence as we get older. We always want to think the older you get, the wiser you are, the more confidence you have, and the stronger and this, but sometimes you dwindle. Sometimes you dwindle as you get older. You think, I used to be able to, I was so funny and people loved me and all that, and now I'm not, you know, just kind of here and stuck, and I got nothing going for me, and I got no plans. Somebody needs you. Somebody needs you. The world needs you. And not as you used to be. Understand that. The world does not need you as you used to be. It needed you when you were being that and you stepped up and did what you did. But it needs you just as you are now. And when you find that within yourself, that is that confidence. And the root of the word confidence means to keep a secret, to have a knowing about yourself that is profound and cannot be dented by the opinion of the world. You know? And this is something I would tell Reverend Lisa Ryans and Reverend David Dewhursts and others who are in ministry or contemplating ministry, is don't give it all away. Don't give it all away. You're not responsible for sharing your entire spiritual practice with the whole world. Keep enough of it to yourself where it's your private confidence, your private knowing. You don't have to rush forward with every thought you have about how things are. Let some stillness be within yourself. Neither expect your students to all have to share everything and lay all their cards on the table about how they feel about everything always, because what you'll do is find yourself judging it. And don't we do that sometimes? People will say, well, I'm not feeling very good about it. Well, oh, come on. Just snap out of it. Cheer up. Look on the bright side of life. Da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da, right? You seen the movie? You know where that goes, right? Mm-hmm. So instead, if you have a little pain, if you have a little nostalgia, poignancy, confusion, doubt, verging on despair, unless it moves to the place of being unmanageable, where you need support, then absolutely ask for it. But most of the time, you can work it out for yourself, and you become stronger within yourself. This is why there are all these stories about don't break the shell off the chick while it's birthing. It needs to kick the thing out itself, right? Don't pull the chrysalis off the caterpillar as it's transforming into the butterfly. It needs to exercise the muscles for its wings. Otherwise, we're not helping. You've heard these stories ever since, grade school, but it's true. And it is a metaphor for modern spiritual practice as well. Push through it yourself and you'll have your own personal springtime. Push through it yourself and you'll burst into bloom in the way that you do. And you'll do it kind of spontaneously, and you'll do it to the surprise and astonishment of the people around you. And you'll just know. And you know what that makes you? You know what that makes you? A leader. That makes you a leader in the world. People will look at you and they'll say, wow, I can do that too. You will lead by example. It's a wonderful thing, But you'll have confidence within yourself. And what we teach in this teaching is that if you ever need anything, and there's no human agency around, when no friend can be found, and sometimes that happens, when no friend can be found to relieve you and remind you and all of this, you have an inexhaustible source within that you can go to directly. And this is what people around the world are doing now. I'm going to close with this. I want to thank you. This today was to be, I'm extending my time here a bit, but today I was going to talk about gratitude, and I sort of have, but what else I was going to say about it, I'll bring it next week. But I want to thank you. I want to thank all of you for being in my life. I want to thank all of you for being in this place called Creative Life, and in each other's lives. And in each other's lives, because I watch the care that you take of each other. I said at this wedding that's being referenced, what wonderful emotional care the couple take of each other and have as long as I've known them as a couple, as long as I've seen them together, which is going on 3 years now, I think. And it holds true for all of us here. Just this amazing degree of support and acknowledgement that we have for one another. As fractured as we've been over the last 2 years, 2 years and a week now, okay, since we turned the key in the door on this place, 4 services, we could have all just disappeared, could have all just filtered out into the world, but you hung in there with each other. And those of you watching online who found us, you know, you keep coming back for this because you like what's going on here. And so I thank you for that. And I thank you for the beautiful decorations up here, Mel T. And I thank you for the great music, Jeffrey, Brian, and Mel's, and Mary with the harp. She took the harp. No, there it is. Okay, she left the harp. As long as she left the harp, we know she's coming back.
Yes, she'll be back. She'll be back.
She'll be back. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for being in the world at this time, because the people of Ukraine need you, the people of South Sudan, Darfur need you, okay? The people of our area who are hungry need you. The 3/4 of people on the earth who have food insecurity need you. 3/4 of people on the earth who do not know that they're going to get a full meal the next time they're hungry, okay? Need you. Did you know this coming in? Did you know this before you decided to have a lifespan that included these years? Probably not, since things happen in the moment. But here we are. And this information, this science of mind that you and I have been furnished with, do you think for 1 minute that's for us alone to keep in our pockets and say, well, I can manifest my way out of this? If we know it, we're there to share it. We're there to share it. And we share it in consciousness, best of all. We share it through printed matter and social media and all the other things too, but we share it in consciousness, best of all, to whoever needs it and whoever wants it, who is driving by right now, like some of you have, right? And saying, there's that sign again. Who are these people? Creative Life Spiritual Center. They don't even call themselves a church. They call themselves a spiritual center. How very perplexing. I must check them out and see what they, you know? And one day, the car just, we could maybe work out something where we had little remote controllers and just turn them, right? Turn them in here. Here they come, all right, to join us in this knowing. So I wish you a happy springtime, our vernal equinox, right on the heels of the full moon. How cool is that? What else do we need to show us the curtain is pulled back? What else do we need to say, here is a portal into the multidimensional reality of you? Let's know together now, there is one life, one power, one presence, pure spirit. And in our part of the world, it is having a springtime experience of itself, and we could not be more pleased. And the bees and the butterflies are happy, and the birds and the squirrels are happy, and the squirrels are starting to get fat again, like they do. And all the creatures that crawl or roam across the face of the earth are feeling it, and I'm feeling it, and you're feeling it. And it's spring break for a lot of our kids, or it just was, or it's about to be. That's a time in life that we tend always to remember. And it's this holy season in Christendom of deep reflection and let it go. And so much more is happening. So much more. So we take advantage of all of it. We apply it all to our spiritual condition. We say, thank you, infinite presence of life, for creating me at such a time as this to face these situations in the world, to reveal the peace back of them. The chaos dissolves in the presence of the cosmos, the uniting idea that pulls everything together. The needle pulls the thread that heals the tear in the cosmic fabric. And so this word spoken here locally, somewhat privately, resounds throughout all creation, doing that which ought to be done to restore us to a full awareness of who we are, as the experience that Spirit is having in this world at this time by means of us. And all fear drops away and confidence takes its place. Compassion takes its place. Calmness, serenity, balance, trust, gratitude. For this knowing and its manifestation and form everywhere we turn, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done, and so it is.
And now, as we come to giving time and our ushers make their way to the back, I want to thank again each and every one of you for being here, being a part of this service, giving of your time, giving of your energy, giving of your love, giving of your monetary donations. All of that is so much appreciated. We would not be here and we would not be able to do what we do and share what we share without you guys. So thank you so much for that love and support. Before we say our giving prayer, treatments, whatever it is there anyone here for the first time? Please raise your hand. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being here yet again. If there's anyone here for the first time online, please let us know. You can message us in chat, or you can send us a message through Facebook Messenger, or even email us at info@creativelife.org. We would love to hear from you and welcome you. And now I invite everyone in this moment to say with me, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is.
And now I'm going to take a deep breath, because I need it, and tell you that the reason that my brain is not working and I'm bleary-eyed is because I was in Page, Texas yesterday. And everybody's like, where is Page, Texas? Well, it's 90 miles that way, ish. It's close to Austin. The point the reason that I was there was because, one, there's a Renaissance festival, and two, there was a wedding at the Renaissance festival. A friend of ours got married, and so we went and played. And because it was Saturday, we didn't have to leave terribly early, and so we were there a lot later than we usually are. Which means that as we're driving home, we left at 7 o'clock. Sunset was at 7:30. We were driving east. The good thing about that is we were driving away from the sun, which means we got to watch this phenomenal sunset in the rearview mirror. And since it's about 2 hours that way, it means that as we were hitting Houston to come home, we saw the moon come up. Did y'all see the moon last night? Yes. It was enormous and orange and amazing. And these are moments that we try to capture, but sometimes we can't. Like, I like to take pictures of them, but I was driving, so yeah, no pictures. But the amazing thing is that God does that every day. And God doesn't hold on to that. God lets that go and creates another beautiful one the next day. And I wanted to share that with you because I wanted to remind you that we're not containers. We're channels. So don't hold on to the good that you've got, because you can only hold so much. Channel it through you, and you will do so much more. So it is springtime. Everything is bursting forth. Remember that you are channels of good. And in that knowing, let's know that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And each and every one of us are channels for that love. We are channels for that growth. We are channels for that presence. We are channels for that power. And as we come to know this about ourselves, we burst forth into spring all the time, not just during this season, but always. We are always the spring in our existence. We are the spring of good to all of those around us. And it is not a burden because we are plugged into an inexhaustible source of love, of peace, of joy, of harmony. So let it spring forth through you, in you, as you. Imagine the good that the world needs now and be it. And I am so grateful to know this, to have this teaching that teaches me who I am every single day. When I go within, and then when I look without into your eyes. And I am grateful for this place, and I am grateful for these people, and I am grateful for this gorgeous day that we are about to go enjoy. And so it is.
Say it with me now. Something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my
I
body.
feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my
I
mind.
feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose
I
it.
trust it.
I trust
I
it.
use it.
I use
And
it.
I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
And so it is.